There's a girl, let's say her name is Natasha, and she's 12 years old. She has just fled her home country of Ukraine, afraid and alone, while her mother and little brother were on the next train behind her. She has hardly had anything to eat or drink, except for what was given to her by the smiling strangers at random checkpoints. And the image of her childhood home, torn to shreds, is still in her mind, but she must focus on what's ahead. She is vulnerable and looking for shelter. While sitting on one of the crowded steps in the Polish train station, a tall German man with a crooked smile crouches down and offers her and her family an apartment. As long as she goes with him now and promises her family can come later. Scared but desperate for hope, she goes with the man only to figure out she is being taken into a bus with other teenage girls, and they are indeed not going to Germany. They end up in a warehouse within Polish borders where she will be trapped and sold for sex against her will. Situations like this with Natasha are happening at an alarming rate and are far too common, especially in the current situation. Sex trafficking is the use of force, fraud, and coercion to obtain a commercial sex act. Currently, there are 3 million refugees that are trying to escape war-torn Ukraine, with an average of 90% being women and children. There are numerous situations where women and children are being transported to places like Germany or France for the aims of safety, but are being rerouted to unsafe locations for sexual exploitation. There are also instances where children are sent across borders alone to later reunite with families, but then there are interferences by exploiters. Many police patrolling the train stations are overwhelmed by the concerns and are underprepared to respond to such dire situations. National and international law enforcement play a big role in the checking of the movement of these vulnerable groups, needing to actively mitigate the risk of exploitation. Nonprofit organizations are working together to create better screening processes as refugees cross the borders and are attempting to keep a log of volunteers taking refugees to safety in order to inhibit exploiters leaving with people unaccounted for. By strengthening border crossing and screening those in shelters, large urban train stations, and other locations for refugees, organizations can better track the info of the influx of people. It is also critical to increase communications between the different organizations who have different methods for registering in the volunteer directory, as well as among border control, law enforcement, and child protection authorities. The current crisis is still fresh. However, social workers can make an immediate and preventative difference. As seen in the graph, there is a multifaceted way for sex trafficking protection. Educating communities and individuals of the warning signs of possible exploitation is key, as well as setting up a monitoring and prevention network, as previously mentioned. Signs of children who are sex trafficked include seemingly rehearsed speeches, signs of physical abuse, expensive clothes or items, or tattoos with specific names. On site, organizations need to be registering children and are currently handing out leaflets of possible signs to look out for children at risk and what a potential exploiter could act like. They are being encouraged to only seek out accommodation and help from official organizations. Being able to quickly identify children traveling alone and implement family tracing and reunification process could increase the safety of children needing parental care. In normal situations of immigration, social workers can offer recovery support and assist in social integration. With so many displaced children and vulnerable women separated from their families, they are more in danger of being sex trafficked. With the help from social workers, the community, and a multidisciplinary approach, kids like Natasha can remain safe from sex trafficking. Thank you.